Alright, welcome back to Murderhobo Mittwoch, and welcome to Pillars of Eternity. So this game uses what is apparently called the Infinity Engine. It is completely unfamiliar to me. Well, I say completely. It's similar to most RPGs. There's a stat that increases your damage, a stat that increases your defenses, etc., etc. But they're all different. You'll see. We are going to play on normal mode because it forgives a few mistakes in combat, so combat should be challenging, but not overbearing. We're going to leave expert mode off so that whatever helper features are there we can experiment with. And we're going to leave Trial of Iron off because I'm recording this, and if something crashes or whatever and it's auto-saving, then bad times. So, just a normal run.
Five wagons grope blindly for the path on a starless night, their master glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern his only protection against the encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
I really don't know what it is with modern CRPGs and having your character not feeling well at the start. It's, I don't know. It bugs me a little bit, definitely better than being found half dead outside of a gate, but that's not saying much. So I've already gone through the character creation. We're going to be playing a female this time. And yeah, we've got different races here. As far as I can tell, messing around a little bit with the character creation, the only thing that choosing a race actually does, other than the sub-race benefits, but these stats, the only thing they do is just change. Well, actually, I'll go ahead and show you. Sure, whatever. So, you get 17 points in addition to straight 10s, no matter what race you play. The only thing that your race does is increases the max of certain stats. Yeah, please excuse the little cuts I'll be making probably somewhat frequently. I got a bit of a cough today. Not sure what it is, but it's no big deal. But as I was saying, you get 17 skill points regardless of what race you choose. And the only thing that changes based on the race, as far as the stats go, is, for example, the elf can have a maximum of 19 dexterity and 19 perception. And that's it, as far as the stats go. So, if you want to be a human that has minimum resolve and might and maximum other stuff, that's fine. It has no bearing. The only thing is, if you want a 20 strength, you have to go Ao-Mao. But yeah. So the main thing that differentiates the different races is when you go to the next step, each race has sub-races, and the sub-races have different stuff. So the humans, all of them, have this fighting spirit. Once per encounter, 5 seconds after being reduced below 50% endurance, they gain temporary bonus to accuracy and damage. So, pretty good for, DPS races, or DPS classes. The Ao-Mao is either bonuses against prone and stun effects, or extra weapon set, whatever that means. The dwarf is either bonus to defend against poison and disease, or bonus accuracy against wilder and primordial creatures. The elves has a basically ranged advantage if you're a wood elf. Any enemy that's more than 4 meters away you gain bonuses against. Versus pale elves. Well, I guess... So you also gain, in addition to the accuracy bonus, you gain deflection and reflex. So wood elves would also, I guess, be good as a melee character against people attacking from range. Casters and, archers and things. Pale elves gain burn and freeze damage reduction, which is, I think, what I'm going to go with. Orlans either have, whenever attacking any target that is also being targeted by a teammate, they get bonus crit. And wild elves, after being subjected to a will attack, so paralyze or, any kind of effect that takes character control away is generally a will save. They gain a temporary bonus to all defenses. And it says subjected to, not saving against. So even if they do get mind-controlled or whatever, they gain defenses. So that's kind of cool. And then godlikes have really interesting sounding abilities. Death godlike gets bonus damage against almost dead enemies. Fire godlike, when reduced below half health, they gain damage reduction and do a small amount of fire damage to any creature who hits them in melee. Moon godlikes, whenever they're reduced below 75, 50, or 25 endurance, they generate waves of healing moonlight that restores endurance to them and their allies. And nature godlike grants a bonus to might, constitution, and dexterity when endurance is below 50%. So, that's interesting. But then again, that is pretty interesting. I was gonna go Pale Elf because I'm a fan of damage reduction. And just having burn and freeze damage reduction sounds fun. But this godlike race... So, might, constitution, and dexterity. So that's defenses as well as damage. Whenever their endurance is below 50%. So as they get more injured, their defenses and damage increase. That's really interesting. I don't know how the moon god, like the waves of healing or whatever, work. That could be interesting. Especially if you're playing like a dedicated healer. Like, being able to heal just from being injured as well as healing with your healing abilities sounds pretty strong. It doesn't specify what kind of damage reduction. So, like, whenever you hover over it, it says how damage reduction works. So, an attack that initially does 20 with target with 7 damage reduction would be reduced to 13. And it says damage will never be reduced below 20% of the initial incoming amount. So that means there is a point where damage reduction is just diminishing returns. You're reducing damage so much that it can't be reduced anymore. But also it doesn't say, it just says gaining damage reduction. And doing a small amount of fire damage to any creature who hits them in melee. So, I'm not going to pick this because I don't know what kind of damage reduction that would give. Whether it would be damage, like, reduction to... I don't know if it would be damage reduction to all types of damage, or what. And it also... the small amount of fire damage to any creature who hits them in melee, so you have to actually be getting hit in order for that to be triggering. So, not sure about that one. Death Godlike is definitely for a DPS character. We're not going to be playing a DPS character. So, I think... Yeah, I think I'm going to go with this nature godlike. Sounds interesting. I don't know if it's going to be strong or weak or what. But dexterity, I'll just skip forward to dexterity, increases action speed and reflex. That's not the one I thought it was. I was thinking perception. Okay. Okay, so I thought perception was the accuracy. No. It's action speed and reflex. Constitution is endurance and health. And then might is damage. So that's not as interesting now. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go with Pale Elf. That's what I picked out to do, and so I think I'm gonna stick with that. Yeah, so we are gonna play as Pale Elf, get some burn and freeze damage reduction. Sounds good. We're gonna play a Paladin, in part because tanky. I like tanky classes. I'll definitely be playing, casters and things at some point along Murderhobo Mittwoch, but I tend, even in in-person D&D and other role-playing sessions, to play more of a tanky frontliner sort. I enjoy face tanking. What can I say? It also helps with CRPGs whenever generally you lose if your main character dies. So being tanky helps prevent loading, saves repeatedly. In any case, so we're going to play as a Paladin because this exists. The Bleakwalkers are soldiers dedicated to conducting warfare mercilessly and with extreme brutality in order to bring a swift end to conflicts. Because they are renowned for their terrible and unyielding nature, most nobles will only call on them as a last resort. The Bleakwalkers' behavior reinforces cruelty because the quickest resolution to a battle is one in which the Bleakwalkers' arrival is announced and a surrender immediately follows. To ensure that people understand that no mercy will be given by Bleakwalkers, they never give quarter under any circumstances. So the Paladins in this game have their power based on whatever, their adherence to their particular path. So we're going to be stronger by staying cruel and aggressive, and if we act benevolently or diplomatically, then we'll become, from what I understand, weaker. So it's going to really favor being the Black Knight, anti-paladin sort of thing, which sounds really fun. Alright, so as a paladin, we get to choose one of two starting abilities, either Flames of Devotion, which adds 50% damage as burn, with plus 20 accuracy. Now, it can be used twice per encounter, and from my brief poking at it to see how it worked, to see how the game worked, it is apparently a single attack. So it's just twice per battle we have a stronger attack that also adds some fire damage. And alternatively, we could go with 2 per encounter healing over 5 seconds, but we're gonna go with Flames of Devotion. It definitely fits the whole Bleakwalkers thing very well. So, yeah, we're a pale elf that is very cruel and aggressive and burns people. As far as the stats go, this is the part that I really was most confused by whenever I looked at it. So that's why I loaded into a game just to see how it works. And the action speed, this seems to impact how quickly you can attack and use abilities and things. If we're just outlasting our opponent, it doesn't really seem to matter. Theoretically, if we just don't take any damage, then it doesn't matter how slow we attack. Perception does seem to be somewhat important because it actually is the accuracy of your attacks. So we're going to put a couple points into that. Intellect is area of effect and duration of abilities. but as far as I can tell, Paladins don't start with any abilities that have area of effect or duration, so we're actually going to drop that down to an 8. Although it does show a star next to it, saying it's recommended for Paladins, so maybe we'll gain abilities at some point. But the Fire Sword ability that we're starting with, the Flames of Devotion, it is per attack. It is 2 attacks, it's not any duration. So I think we're going to drop that down to an 8 so that we can pump Resolve up to an 18. So that's going to give us 8 Deflection, which is basically our armor class. So it is the defense used to resist direct melee and ranged attacks that are not area of effect. So basically that makes us tankier. And then Constitution increases endurance and health, so we're going to bump that up a little bit. And Might increases damage, which again, our Fire Sword increases our damage by 50% for those 2 attacks, and converts it to burn damage, but it is based on how much damage we're dealing. So we're going to put that up to 21% bonus damage. Sounds good to me. So I think this is how we're going to roll. We got 17 Might, 12 Constitution, and again, since we're not going past 18 on anything, it doesn't really matter what race we were. I mean, I guess if you went with one of the races that had -1 to something, then the max there would be 17. But other than that, like, it really seems the sub-race perks are the main reasons to choose between the different races. That and just how you look. But yeah, as you will tell if you've been around Murderhobo Mittwoch, or if you continue watching Murderhobo Mittwoch, I don't generally pay too much attention to how my character looks. Then we are given the chance to increase one of our stat points with a background that also changes our starting gear. So at first I was like, oh hey, Warhammer and shield, that sounds really good, except the shield actually reduces your accuracy very significantly. And we already should have a really high defense from our Resolve. So I actually think we might go with Might or Perception. Because again, Perception is your accuracy. Or maybe we will go with Constitution. That does increase your health, which will make us a more effective tank. And the shield, so it's a roughly 30% penalty to your accuracy compared to your base. And the defense is, I think the defense was like double base. So I think we are going to go. I think we're going to go Mason Buckler. We'll get the +1 Might, so our Might's bumped up to 18. Buckler will give some defense, but hopefully not impact our accuracy that much. And Mace, sure, why not? Now we choose skill points. So the skill points give different perks. Here you see, Survival allows characters to choose from a variety of long-term bonuses each time they camp. So we definitely want 1 Survival. Definitely. Lore allows you to use scrolls. Athletics give you the second wind ability to recover lost endurance, and the higher athletic score increases the effect. So, athletics will make us be able to tank better. So ideally, I would want something with survival and athletics. But I do not see anything with survival and athletics. So, I guess we'll go athletics and lore. I'd rather have the second wind ability than the survival camping thing, because I don't know how frequently we'll be camping or anything, or how long it lasts or whatever. But athletics, very straightforward. The higher athletic score increases the effect, and we heal with it. So, huzzah! Alright, and then this is the portrait that I found very quickly. Change the hair to white. Change the hair to more closely resemble that if possible. Yeah, the character looking how I want it to look, not such an important thing. The character matching the portrait is very important. I want it to match as closely as possible. And it looks like the default is actually going to be... I think that was the default. Or maybe that's just what I picked it to. Sure, whatever. The secondary and primary color are pretty cool. Let you change. So, thinking some dark leather. And the primary color... some... green? Yeah, sure. Skin. Match the portrait as best we can. Sounds good. And then the voices. I listened through these all.
I've got this. Bring them down. Not a sound.
And none of them are annoying.
Watch and learn. Death to our enemies! They'll never know I'm here. I'll lead the way. You're mine. Quick and quiet.
Like, also the fact that you can choose a male voice on a female character, and I assume also a female voice on a male character.
Follow me. Onward!
And the opportunity to not have a voice is always appreciated. Just in case you don't like any of the voices that are, presented.
Eh? I've got this. Let's go! My eyes are peeled.
So, I think I'm gonna go with the feisty. Sure. And we'll be... Lillian. Sure. Alright. The caravan master finishes addressing the group, his bushy red mustache and sagging jowls quivering as if for emphasis.
Everybody stays close to the wagons, got it? Stay out of the woods, and beasts take you if you were planning a stroll through those ruins up there.
He nods toward a looming black mass on the hillside.
Whole area's crawling with hut-dwelling types who would be happy to stick an axe in you for trespassing. So mind that you don't track mud on their sacred blazing rocks. Tonight, everybody stays put, and in the morning we'll get the path cleared. Gilded Vale's less than a day out. Understood?
At last, the caravan master turns to you, frowning as he looks you over.
A touch of the rumbling rot, could be. There's a stinging beetle round here, carries it. You'll be fine once it passes your innards. Unless you don't drink water, course. Which case you'll be dead in a day. There's a berry grows in these parts, small and pink, called a springberry. About the size of a fingernail. Give you cramps if you eat it, but the frontiersmen make a tea from it. Calms the insides. Should get you through the night. You might check around, see if you can find some. Meanwhile, I'll see if we can scare you up some water. I know you want to hunt before it gets much darker. But see about refilling our water first. Got a sick one here.
So, I really wish they didn't do this. Having the lines that are not spoken, I don't know, it bugs me. It bugs me. If you have voice acted stuff, let the player read the stuff before the voice acted. There's no reason why this couldn't have been another slide. Odema looks over his shoulder at his assistant, a lanky, intense man named Sparful who carries an old sun-bleached bow. And then he says it, which makes it make a lot more sense, instead of him just saying it. I'm gonna skip a lot of the fluff and a lot of the backstory and the questioning of people. I'm just gonna kind of try to play the character be a little more streamlined with the experience. If you like what you see, feel free to buy it and play through it as you'd like. Click all the options, read all the things, but I'm going to try to keep this this playthrough pretty streamlined. I am going to try to play in character, but at the same time, going to try to keep things moving. So, the important part...
They don't got Adra where you come from? Well, it just grows up out of the ground like this. Goes deep like tree roots. Some of it all the way to the heart of the world, you believe the stories. It's more like a shell than a proper rock. Easier to work if you're a mason. Got all kinds of strange properties. Seems to have some kind of life of its own. Dies if it gets dug up. Loses its luster. Folks think it probably grew at one point or another, but not these days. The soul butchers in Defiance Bay use it for different things. I've heard tell it can hold a man's soul, but I don't care to see it. Got enough to worry about without seeing something like that.
Yeah, I remember the rocks are important. Anyway, go see about the berries.
Take someone with you. I know you're not some helpless tenderfoot, not like most of this lot. But you drop dead, I don't want to be looking for the body. Got a schedule to keep.
He scans over the travelers, resting his eyes at length on a sturdy, armor-clad woman who has spent the journey's nights sleeping on uneven ground without blanket or pillow.
Kalisha. Kalisha!
The woman looks up on her own time. And then the random not voice-acted line. She needs to find some spring berries. Watch that she doesn't drop dead.
No promises.
What kind of guide says something like that?
Kind you can afford.
Don't listen to her. You're in good hands. And I pay too well, if anything.
All right.
Off with you. Hayden should have supplies. See that you're equipped before you head out. We're in harsh country. Get your berries and hurry back. And if you get so much as a tickle of wind, you drop everything and you run. Something in the air tonight. If it's a Beawick, we'll shelter in the ruins. Hut dwellers be damned.
You heard the man. Let's get
All
going
right.
before you keel over.
So we have party. Right now, it is the fighter that everyone gets to start alongside, and our character. So let's take
What you
a
need?
peek real quick.
Eh?
Oops, no, not that. That. So we got all the stats that we picked out with all the effects. We've got our skills. We have Athletics 3. So grants second wind, 35 endurance. It's pretty solid considering our endurance is 47. So, yeah. I think if I remember correctly, health. So endurance is like a battle by battle value. So you lose 47 endurance here, you drop in the battle. You stand up after the battle's over, you get your 47 endurance back. But your health, if I remember correctly, is reduced by whatever endurance you took. And your health you can only restore by resting, and once your health reaches 0, you die. Or something like that. We'll figure it out. We'll see if I'm remembering correctly shortly. But the active effects, we have a plus 10 damage reduction to freeze and burn because we're a pale elf. So all fire and ice damage, we're taking 10 off of it. Pretty solid. We have the Faith and Conviction ability, which is plus 8 to all defenses except Deflection, and this is based on our dispositions. I believe the more cruel and aggressive we are, the higher that will get. We'll find out as we play. The strange illness we have is giving us a penalty to concentration and fortitude, because apparently everyone has to start every game sick in some way. So, Elemental Endurance is our Pale Elf ability, Faith and Conviction is our Paladin ability, Flames of Devotion is our Paladin active ability. So this is the 2 per encounter. So our full attack right now is 14 to 20 Crush, and then plus 50% of that is Burn. So plus 7 to 10 as Burn. Pretty good. It sounds very powerful. We'll see how it plays out. And then the second wind ability, which lets us heal in the middle of combat for pretty much our entire endurance, because we have 3 athletics. So, looking at the stats over here, we have our damage, which is 11 to 16 from our weapon, and then plus 24% from our might value. So that means we're actually gaining 3 to 4 damage normally, just per hit, and then an extra 1.5 to 2 damage from the fire, from whenever we use our Flames of Devotion, just from our might score being 17. Then our accuracy is 27, plus 2 from the perception, and 25 base, so we have a 10% increased accuracy from our perception score. Interrupt, I have no idea what it does. But apparently we have 6 from our perception. Concentration determines how likely we are to have our spells and attacks interrupted. Yeah, so 75 base, 24 resolve. Okay. Our defenses. Here's the important part. So deflection is basically like your armor class, if you're familiar with something like Dungeons & Dragons, where deflection prevents you from being hit. So we have plus 8 from our resolve, plus 8 from the small shield, and plus 4 from faith and conviction. Notice the accuracy, we don't have any penalty, which is why I went with the small shield instead of the tower shield, or the kite shield, or whatever, the big shield with the warhammer. Because that was actually a minus 8 accuracy and a plus 18 deflection. So it was much better at deflecting, but it really hurt our accuracy. So definitely better with the small shield for now. Fortitude, reflex, and will, pretty standard. So the will, again, we have a minus 4 from our intellect, but a plus 16 from our resolve. So good deal. Then we have the damage reductions. So I don't know what this damage reduction 10 is about, because it shows the different types of weapon we're effective against. So crush damage, our armor is 25% bonus effectiveness, so it's at 13. Burn, we have the Brigandine, which is 10, and then our Elemental Endurance, which is 10. So we have a 20 burn damage reduction. Same with Freeze, and then Corrode, the Brigandine is minus 25% armor efficiency, so it's only an 8. I don't know if that means it's 10 against whatever's not listed here, because if we go to our inventory and we look at our Brigandine, we see damage reduction 10, Crush 13, Corrode 8. And if we go to hers, we see damage reduction 7, Slash 9, Pierce 5, Freeze 9. So I don't know if that means 7 against things like Crush, but more against Slash and less against Pierce, or if it means since Crush isn't listed that it doesn't offer any protection against that. So I'm not sure on that one, but yeah, she definitely has better armor than us, I think. Never mind. Never mind. Our Brigandine is actually quite a bit better. Alright. Right, I accidentally activated Scouting Mode, so Scouting Mode is used both for stealth and finding hidden objects. Moving toward a character accelerates how quickly they will detect you. And then, let's see, what else? Stash, okay. Right, the records over here, we have party records, and then we have personal records. And we can switch between the characters. We see Kaliska here has these stats, these skills, these abilities, constant recoveries from being human, I believe. Or no, fighter. Fighting spirit is from being human. So, she's a human fighter. Her special attack is a knockdown, so she can knock people prone. And second wind, she also has second wind, just not as good as ours. Alright. I think that covers everything. I don't know why the game is paused. Alright, we can talk to the different people. Caravaner. Caravaner. We already talked to him. That's how we started the game. Caravaner. Here's the merchant dude.
Anyone need supplies?
You see a man wearing simple but mostly neat clothes. He's transfixed, however, by a ragged tear in the seam of his tunic.
Brought a whole wagon full of goods to sell, but not enough shirts for the road.
He scratches one cheek with his knuckles. It's covered with uneven stubble, as if he hasn't quite gotten used to shaving on the road.
Say, is there anything you need? I've got some basic traveling supplies for sale if you'd like to take a look.
Sure, let's see what you got. So, different weapons. Oops, I wanted to... There we go, right click. So, two-handed weapon, 15 to 22 slash pierce damage. As compared to... Wait. Base 14 to 20. So is that showing what my stats would be if I used it? 15 to 22. 15 to 22. I don't know. Battle Axe, 12 to 17 slash damage. Yeah, I really don't know how the weapon stats work. That must be the damage after stats are applied, right? Because hold on. Let me go back to my character inventory. Because this shows 14 to 20, base 11 to 16. So 14 to 20 is after my stats are applied to it. But if its base is 11 to 16...
Something else you need?
Its base is 11 to 16. So it has the same base as this battle axe, but for some reason this battle axe is showing 12 to 17 instead of the same damage that our mace is showing. Unless there's some kind of a proficiency. And also apparently you can retrain your character at any vendor. Interesting. There's a medium shield. Right now we're using a light shield. So this is a 12 deflection minus 4 accuracy. So, yeah. The light shield that we have is an 8 deflection with no accuracy penalty. The medium shield is 12 deflection with minus 4 accuracy, and the heavy shield is the 16 deflection with minus 8 accuracy. So I definitely prefer the light shield that I grabbed, just so I don't have the accuracy penalty. He has different armor types. Potion of Minor Regeneration, which does the same as our athletics ability. So, alright. And then lockpicks, which we don't have anyone who can really pick locks. So, I don't think that it would be... Yeah. If a lock is slightly outside the range of a picker's expertise. Some lockpicks may be sacrificed in the process of opening it. So, yeah. Hopefully we're given the option to just break locks open, because we currently don't have a way to pick them. We apparently have 100 coins. I don't know what that means. You can apparently sell directly from your stash, so that's cool. And yeah, I don't see anything we need, so let's get on with it. Also worth noting, Kaliska right now has a primary weapon, which is a battle axe, with 13 to 19 damage, and a secondary weapon, which is a torch. The torch does 7 to 11 base damage, plus 21% of the damage from might. So, torches are actually respectable weapons in this game. That's pretty cool. I like that. Because, I mean, I honestly wouldn't want to get beaten with essentially a flaming club. So, yeah. She also has really high accuracy because she's a fighter. But I don't know why her interrupt is... Oh no, that's her concentration is 84 versus the 96, which sounds really massive. 75 base, 75 base. So we just... Yeah, we get plus 24 from our resolve, so... Yeah. Defenses, she actually seems to have inferior defenses in every way. We have better damage reduction, we have better outright defenses, so apparently we have succeeded in making a tank. Exploration is key in Pillars of Eternity. As you make your way through the Eastern Reach, open the area map to see what parts of the map you've already been to and what's left to explore. Yes. So this is the area we're in. And indeed, we have not explored these ruins. I know he said to stay out of them, but, what can I say? Let's see.
My eyes are peeled.
So Alt toggles scouting on and off. I don't know if there's a key to toggle showing or highlighting what's interactable. There's a deer. Travelers, maybe, or looters or bandits. Bad sign any way you figure it. The corpse is cold to the touch, and a ripe smell wafts from it in putrid waves. A dark crusted blood stain besmirches its simple linen clothing. But we can check this one and get some stuff. And glowing things on the trees, but we can't interact with them. Cannot go in the water.
Eh?
So right-clicking, I can rotate around. There's also a formation button. And I can create custom formations, but for now we just have 2 melee characters, so whatever. Let's go across the bridge, I guess.
This is recent.
Okay.
Not good.
Use the tab key to highlight interactive objects in the environment. Okay, take some beer. The footprints around the campfire are indistinct and may have been here for days or longer. That's not... That's mushrooms. We were told to look for berries. Okay, so we got an ingredient. Because there's some kind of crafting. Alright. There's a lantern. I mean, it said to explore, so I'm exploring. Alright. I mean, the animations get the job done. But you know what? I'm not going to pick it apart. As long as the story's good and as long as I'm able to play my character. Again, right now the bar for Murderhobo Mittwoch is very, very low. Okay, and we came from over here.
I'll have your water soon enough. Stream's not going anywhere.
Ah, okay. So that's the guy that went to get our water or whatever. So we're supposed to be looking for berries. Is that them? No. Burned lady. Okay. So more mushrooms, I guess.
Let's check by those outcroppings.
And we've got a brutally dead deer, and a young wolf. Pillars of Eternity combat uses a pausable real-time system. Because you will often manage more than one character at a time, it's a good idea to pause the game, issue orders, and resume real-time to see the orders play out. Yep, classic CRPG. Sometimes a weapon or spell simply isn't well suited to penetrating an enemy's damage reduction. When the attack hits, the DR will wipe out all but a small percentage of the incoming damage. You'll hear your characters complain about it when it happens. Take heed, note the damage type that's being blocked, and switch to a weapon or spell that does a different damage type.
Let's go!
Okay, so apparently you have to left-click to attack. And we have successfully killed the wolf. And we have to wait till we're out of combat to loot. Alright. That must be the berries I'm looking for. That must be. It's past the tutorial combat encounter, but I want to look what's down the road first. Oh wait, tutorial. When a party member takes damage, they will start to lose endurance and health. Their portrait will begin to fill with a red overlay, and the health bar to the left of their portrait will slowly start to decrease. When the portrait fills entirely red, the character will be knocked out. Potions and spells can be used to restore endurance to keep the character in the fight, but health can only be restored by resting. Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. So, now... Yeah. Lillian took a little bit of damage in the fight, so her endurance went down. At the end of the fight, her endurance went back to max, but her health stayed down. So apparently we took 3 damage. Which is fine. Because, I mean, yeah. Got good max health, got good endurance. Okay. And this path winds through a narrow canyon back the way you came. Grooves in the road.
Too far.
Grooves in the road mark the passage of hundreds of caravans. Alright, so we have explored the entire area, right? No, we have not. Let's just, for the sake of seeing exactly... We're not going to do this in every area throughout the entire game. I just want to do this for the tutorial area specifically. Just to see.
My eyes are peeled.
And the fallen tree doesn't budge. Sap oozes from the jagged wound in its
Not
trunk.
looking forward to trying to lift that thing tomorrow.
Alright, so somebody obviously felled that tree. There's horses. Okay. I don't know why there's random horses there. I guess that's the horses from the caravan. They just temporarily corralled them in there. Okay. So yes, we have checked the entire area. And that's it. Very straightforward tutorial area. We had a tutorial fight. We got our... got accustomed to moving the characters around. Alright. So let's pick our berries and see what happens. Mercenary, you look like you've seen your share of action. What did you do before you came out here? I'm a war veteran. Sure. Yeah, how is it you happen to come here? That's a very aggressive answer, I think. You got a lot on your mind then. Hopefully things work out in the end, but in my experience they don't always. Kaliska breathes in her surroundings. Been a long time since I've been this way, but I always did like it. Lord Raedric's offer. Makes a girl think, I'll give him that. You here to settle like the rest of the lot? No, I'm just passing through. That's usually the case with the big city, just a little ways further up the same road. Where are you headed? Didn't we just say we're just going on to the next war? continue on to the city to see where it takes me. Closest one is Defiance Bay, the capital. A few days out. Got its nice places and its not so nice places, same as any city. But the Duke is a good man, as I hear it. Anyway, I'm wasting time here. Odema will give me an earful. Let's be on our way. I don't care. Don't care. Don't care. Alright. You know, I wouldn't hold my breath that Sparfle's getting you water anytime soon. He does what he feels like when he feels like it. We should check up on him first, slap him around a little. Stream's just down that way. Come on, let's get you your water. Alright, so... characters, attributes, skills, class, race, culture, and sex may all open up options for you in dialogue. These options are not necessarily superior to the other responses, but give you a wider variety of choices to select from. The manner in which someone responds to your choices depends on their individual personality and attitude. I wonder if it'll give us any kind of indication when an answer is going to be cruel, aggressive, benevolent, or diplomatic. Because we want to make sure we're not benevolent and diplomatic, and we want to make sure we stay cruel and aggressive. So we saw the stream down here. Alright. Not seeing the dude. Not seeing the dude. Because we just saw him over by the tree. Is he on the other side of the stream then?
What a surprise. Sparfle went hunting. At least he left the water skins. Come on.
Okay. You crouch at the riverbank and dip your water skin into the cool water while Callisto waits nearby, keeping watch. As you rise, you notice her look up sharply towards the tree line. You have gained an item. Quest. Full water skin added to the stash. Out of the trees emerges Sparfle, one of the guides, barely discernible in the dim moonlight. He no longer carries his bow, and there is a strangeness to his gait, his stride wobbly as he moves toward you with labored breath.
Sparfle? Are you alright?
Sparfle's toe catches on a rock, and he collapses forward in a heap, the feathered shaft of an arrow planted between his shoulders like an enemy flag.
Ambush!
Okay, so the game auto-pauses when battle starts. That's nice. You? Let's see. She, if I remember correctly, can I check? Yes, I can check. Her accuracy is 32. My accuracy is 27. However, I have the twice per battle, 2 per encounter ability that gives me plus 20 to hit. So I'm going to send that after the guy with the shield, and she's going to attack the guy that does not have a shield.
Yeah.
And give him another. And you knock him down. Okay. And then you go help her. It's a little counterintuitive. It's a little counterintuitive that you have to click the base of their feet instead of the character model itself. But other than that, combat feels good. I mean, it's CRPG combat. Tell your people to do this stuff, and they do it. Good. Good deal. Alright, many spells and abilities in Pillars of Eternity have a limited number of uses. An ability that can be used a number of times per encounter will have all of its uses restored when combat ends. Abilities that can be used a number of times per rest will only be restored when you rest at an inn or use camping supplies. Okay, so camping is a thing we actually have to use some kind of camping supplies for. Noted. It was this way? Yes, this way back. Okay, so once again, we have a guy with a shield and a guy with a bow. So once again, we're going to stick to the same strategy. Go knock the guy with the bow down. And you go burn the dude with the shield. Okay, she got intercepted. In that case, knock this guy down. Okay. Knock this guy down again. And then go attack this guy. And you...
Let's go!
Go burn this guy. Alright. Combat end. Loot, loot, loot. And loot, loot, loot. So right now we're at 209 out of 231 health and 238 out of 253. It is very refreshing to see health totals that are larger than, like, 12. Because the larger the numbers that you're working with at the start of a game, the less likely it is for a player to get unlucky and just die. So, this system, beautiful. I absolutely support this system. I feel like it is actually a very far superior system to the standard, you have 12 health, and if you get hit, you take 6 damage. If you get hit twice, you're down. Like, this having a reasonable number, 47, 51, for each individual combat, and then having a persistent health between combats, beautiful system. Oh boy. Oh boy, everyone's dead. All around you lie the massacred remains of the other travelers, peppered with arrows and knife hilts, splayed and bug-eyed and filthy. Kaliska puts the back of her left hand to her mouth as if to ward away some poisonous vapor. A handful of dark figures stand above the fallen, treading on limbs and backs of heads, jerking their axes from bodies as if from half-split logs. One of them, towering and severe, with a thick beard tasseled with knots, holds a wet blade at the neck of the man you recognize as Hierden, the last of your caravan left standing. Lay down your arms, trespasser. Do not forfeit this man's life for a fight you will lose. So I think this is one of those situations where I should be cruel and aggressive. Murderers you will pay for each life. I mean, that sounds pretty aggressive. Yeah, let's go with that. Death willed by the gods is not murder but righteousness. You have trespassed in places of which no mortal man is worthy. The debt is not ours to pay but yours. So I say again, lay down your arms. Hierden, don't trust them. They mean to kill us all. No. Only a fool attacks a weak enemy while a stronger one yet lives. That's very aggressive. Go ahead, kill him, do it. Oh, I love that that's actually an option. Because that's definitely cruel. This sounds very... Yeah, this is interesting. That playing a paladin is making me actually consider, like, the motive behind, instead of just like what's the most optimal to resolve the situation, it's making me sit here and go, okay, what would this particular type of paladin require me to go with? Wait. Oh, yeah, I was right. You now have 1 rank in a disposition reputation. These reputations represent how people perceive your personality throughout the world. Even seemingly nasty reputations will be favored by some people, and benign reputations often bring out the worst in certain people. No disposition is inherently good or bad in Pillars of Eternity, but if your main character is a priest or paladin, you must be careful not to misalign their dispositions with what is favored by their deity and order, respectively. For the main character only, their dispositions will modify the effects of holy radiance for priests and faith and conviction for paladins. So I was right, yeah. Our choices in dialogue are going to change the strength of our faith and conviction ability. That is so cool. And also, I love this specifically that they have the intention that no disposition is inherently good or bad. That's beautiful. I'm definitely appreciating the intent so far. Not far enough in to see if the execution was good, but the intent. So I'm definitely thinking that cruel might be the way to go. But then again, aggressive. Rush the man before he can act. Boom. Your surprising speed catches the man off guard. He hurls Hedon out of the way in hopes of buying himself time to defend your charge. Aggressive. Haha. So let me see. I gotta see. Where do I see? Lillian Reputation's none. But it said... I thought it said... I thought it had said that we did a thing. That a disposition was triggered or whatever. Oh, maybe it means... Maybe it means his interactions with me was triggered by my disposition? I don't know. That's something I'm really hoping to get a better grasp on, because that seems like a really cool way to encourage playing a character. I definitely support it way over, the traditional give them MacGuffins and see what they do with the MacGuffins kind of thing. Alright, so first things first, which one? That's the leader. So I think I try to focus down the leader. I have control of him as well. So I think I'm going to have him try to intercept this guy. I'm going to have her knock this guy down as she burns him. Okay. So that didn't work as planned, so I guess you guys focus him while you burn him. Okay, never mind. Burn the leader after all. Alright. You scored a crit. A crit is a better result than a hit, and they are more likely to occur when the attack's accuracy is higher than the target's defense. Oh, really? So high accuracy increases crit chance. Interesting. Huh. So that means that the plus 20 accuracy also means it's more likely to crit. That's cool. In any case, burn this dude. Or actually, wait. Can I not burn this dude? Can I cancel it? Okay, yeah, if I just tell him to attack normally, I'll cancel it. First, I want you to knock him down. You, blind this guy. Yeah, so you knock him down, and then once he's knocked down, I will use the Flames of Devotion, because he should have decreased defense on the ground, which means I'll have even more crit chance. Okay, now that he's on the ground, and the other one's dead. Okay, and that one's dead. Your enemy lies supine on the ground, unable to rise. His companions now silent among the other dead. His breath comes in wheezing, fitful gasps. He looks not at you, but at the sky above you. Forgive us. Barely audible beneath his choked sighs, a whisper of wind stirs the air. At this, the man's eyes roll back as he closes them. Good, good. The gods are just. A queer smile crosses his face. I am ready. The wind begins to swell, whipping around the camp, electric and volatile, upending pots and rattling tents like an angry spirit. You can feel it begin to seep beneath your skin, and where it pierces you, it feels as though it is rending you apart from within. Seated against a wagon wheel amidst the howling maelstrom, slashed across chest and bow, Odema's body stirs, and with great effort he raises his sagging head, his eyes barely open. He looks directly at you.
Get inside! Run!
Okay. Oh yeah, I vaguely remember this now. It's the whatever. Straining against a gale that threatens to pull you off your feet with every step, you set your hands in the worn folds of weathered rock and set about pulling yourself up the precipice. With a last burst of energy before your arms give out, you swing yourself up onto the ledge. Theoden trails behind, slowed by injury and delayed by early hesitation. As he nears the face of the rocks, one of the fallen attackers, who had been feigning death, lunges for Theoden and topples him onto the rocky ground. Restrained, Theoden lashes out against his fatigued assailant, but struggles to break his hold. They are close to you, despite the wind. From your position, if you were to throw your weapon at the attacker, you would have a good chance at hitting your mark. Dexterity 15 requirement not met. So there's an option other than leave him to his own devices or throw my weapon? That kind of makes me wish I had bought a spare weapon. Cruel. Resting free of the attacker's grip, Theoden lands a blow that sends the assailant reeling, and he makes a mad dash for the ledge upon which you stand. Suddenly, as he reaches for the rock face, his body jerks back and is rigid, as though it were a bow being strung. His shrieks of pain grow panicked, abandoned of all restraint, like someone tethered to a stake and set aflame. A slender wisp of spectral light emerges from his back, rising out of him like smoke before separating itself and disappearing into the ether. All at once the screams stop, and Theoden is dead. So if I had thrown my weapon, would I have spared him? I don't know. There is a deep resonance to the wind now. You feel it in the rocks beneath your feet and inside the cavity of your own chest, as though it would shake the marrow from your bones. Each new gust menaces the old stones before you, loosening connections, unsettling balances. As you dart beneath the old archway, the entire portal begins to fall beneath its own weight.
That was... We should be dead.
So is Theoden dead because of me? That's interesting. Like, if I had enough dexterity or if I had thrown my weapon, would he actually have lived? I don't know. In any case, Calliska shakes her head.
We can't stay here. There could be another collapse. We're not getting out that way anyway. Let's get further inside.
Alright. So... Party gained 858 experience. If I had saved him, does that mean my character would have gained less experience? So, does keeping a smaller party mean the characters level up faster? I don't know. Questions. I have questions. Also, I guess we did have spare weapons. But I like my mace. Also, stash? Can I... Yes, I can. I can put all the stuff into the stash. I'll keep the lockpicks just in case. Yeah. Again, just tossing all the stuff because we know we can sell directly Actually, wait. This is slashing damage. Weapon sets. Isn't that what the Aragoa, I think the race was called? I think that said they get a third weapon set. That's interesting. So if my mace crushing damage is ineffective, I can switch to the hatchet slashing damage. And if I'm going to switch to the lower damage attack, right? Yeah. So if I switch to the lower damage attack, I don't mind having my accuracy reduced. Cool. And she already has slashing damage, so alrighty. Sure, let's look at the hole. A lower level of the ruins has been blocked off by fallen rubble. Alright.
Got it.
So again, just checking out the tutorial area fully. Just to get a feel for, you know, the setup.
We have to be careful in here. Place has been open to the wilds for a couple thousand years. Might be a lot of vermin taking shelter here. 4-legged if we're lucky. 2 if not.
What happened out there, the caravan leader told us the Beowulf, whatever. The wind thing. He warned us about the wind thing, and then the wind thing happened. Who attacked us? Obviously bandits. Or not specifically bandits, the tribal people that he also warned us about. What about everyone else in our caravan? They're all dead. You don't seem too upset about this. That's a pretty good observation. Callisto looks you in the eye, a volatile current running beneath her voice. Maybe you just don't know me enough to know what upset looks like. And maybe I've seen worse too. Seen worse and kept on walking. Because there's nothing else to be done. And because there's other people you care about who still need you.
We look for another way out. Storm has to die sometime.
Yeah, that was a pretty callous thing to say. But, I mean, again, cruel and aggressive. Let's go. I've never played a Heartless Paladin before, so that's going to be fun. That is going to be fun. Cold, callous, Heartless Paladin.
We should move.
Well, let's check their stuff first. Ooh, camping supplies. Cool. And another mace. Okay. Now I regret not throwing my mace. Had I known there was going to be another one just handed to me, I would have seen if I could save him. Small shield, torch. Cool. Yeah, I think I'm happy with her having the dual wield going on. So she has, if I'm not mistaken, it's it's slashing in her primary hand and crush and fire in her offhand. So she's got 3 different weapon types she's rocking. Camping supplies, yeah. Easy difficulty allows you to carry more camping supplies. Hard restricts them severely. If you fully run out of camping supplies, try to find an inn. Most have cheap rooms available. Alright. But we don't need to camp. We're still in really good shape. So let us continue into the tutorial dungeon. Okay, so do we go through the tunnel or do we go over what looks to be a bridge? I think the tunnel... A trembling, sickly creature emerges from the dark, clutching a spear. Knobby elbows and thin ribs show through its scaly flesh, but you recognize it as a Zorup. It watches you cautiously, breathing in ragged sighs. I'll tear you to pieces, lizard. The Zorup's eyes narrow as it hisses at you. It lunges, raising the spear. You knock him down. You attack him, and as soon as he's on the ground, fire. or he's dead. That works too.
Eh?
Zorp Spear. 13 to 19 pierce damage. I think... because she already does slashing damage. And crushing damage. Crushing, slashing... Sure. Yeah, sure. Actually, you know what? I'll keep it. What? Properties, accurate. +5 accuracy. No kidding. So does that mean... what's the damage? 14 to 20, 14 to 20. So yeah, I think that's my new primary weapon. And then... I'm just gonna leave it. But yeah. Accurate, huh? What's interfering? +5 deflection. Interesting. Unfortunately, it does do less damage, so... But yeah, so this is actually a very defensive build. The medium shield with the hatchet. +5 deflection from the hatchet's quirk, and 12 deflection from the shield. What's this thing's? 3 damage reduction bypass. Ooh. That's really good, actually. It's so interesting that even basic weapons have specific quirks. I don't even think I noticed that the first time I gave this game a try. And so the 10% burn damage is actually the quirk here. So, what if I replace the torch, say, with a mace? Same accuracy? Except now it bypasses 3 damage reduction instead of doing 10% bonus burn damage. But this is doing more damage, period, so... less damage types, but higher damage and damage reduction bypass, which would be the primary reason that I would want the fire damage to begin with, is to bypass damage reduction for the crush damage. So, yeah. Cool. Alright. Sounds good. Wait a second. Dude! You can change the colors? You can actually change the color schemes in the middle of the game? That is awesome. So if you get a new set of armor that looks different, and you want to change the accent colors to facilitate, or to you know, make the armor look better, you can. That's cool. Like, if I get some more armor and the green looks weird with it, I can switch the green to something else. That is so cool. Alright.
Eh?
Alright. And there's a corpse. And we have ranged weapon. Ha! Who uses ranged weapons? Certainly not us. Ingwithan Relief Gem? Oh, relief like statue. Like, I was thinking relief like, you know, being relieved. Like, Yeah, that. Instead of, like, relief, like the type of statue called a relief. Or I guess it's a type of sculpture, not a type of statue. Quest item, huh? Tattered journal. Torn in several places and blood has soaked into several of the sheets. One later entry is still legible, however. You know, I don't know what it is, but it just... It kind of bothers me that the creators of games feel the need to be like, here's an in-universe explanation for why only one paragraph is legible in this entire book. Like, it... Yeah. I don't know. Just... Is it really so bad to just not mention it and just say, this is what it says? Is it really so bad to just be like, I can't believe my luck, a few rounds of dice, and I've got, like, the need to explain that the reason only this entry is legible is because the blood is soaked through the sheets? Like, I don't know. It just seems silly to me, because every book you find has something wrong with it, causing you to only be able to read one page or one paragraph or whatever. Of course, then you could always go the other extreme way and go the Elder Scrolls route of having, like, the entire book be readable. But, yeah, that's a lot of money going into writing and implementing a bunch of text that 90% of the people playing the game probably won't even look at. In any case, I can't believe my luck. A few rounds of dice and I've got my hands on a genuine Ingwithan artifact. The fellow who had it said it was a pretty nothing. As far as he's concerned, he's not willing to go digging in some ruins. But if he's right about this gem leading to a hidden treasure, then that's worth sneaking past a few painted elves. I'll head to Silentless in the morning, then it's just a matter of finding this relief he was talking about. Okay. So we have a key to a relief. And how do I... There we go. Open that. Put all this random stuff in it. Hammer and chisel. Simple iron hammer and chisel useful for chipping away at hard surfaces, particularly ones that display structural weakness. Interesting. I will definitely keep that on my person. Yeah, crossbow, leather armor, torch, tattered journal, small shield. Alright. Beer, whatever. Okay. So, I guess let's continue down the side tunnel.
You hear that?
A Scolder Whelp. That guy looks mildly intimidating. Let's do the same thing as always. Trip him and then burn him.
What you need?
That works pretty well. Also, it appears that bar, I don't know if you noticed it, but there was a bar above the characters' heads that seemed to be indicating how soon they could act again. Scolder Ear. Okay. I guess that's the action speed that Dexterity influences. So that's cool. And there's a hatchet. And there's a rock wall.
That looks weak. Could be a shortcut.
A crack runs along this wall from floor to ceiling. A light gust of air passes through it. Push on the wall. Despite the damage, the stone looks heavy and solid. Push on it yourself. You push with all your might and the crack begins to spread. Finally, you feel the ancient masonry give way. The wall crashes down, revealing a circular room ahead. Might 16. Cool. Okay, hold on. We got a chisel. There was a way to go that required a chisel unless you had enough strength. So is this the... Oh, right.
Suspicious. Let's be careful.
Right. This is a puzzle. Tutorial dungeon puzzle. And then this...
Those symbols. Just like the tiles.
So, is the wall I just broke an extra area? Or is that the way I'm supposed to go? Because naturally I want to explore the entire tutorial dungeon. See what all it has to offer. I gotta say, challenges so far have been very appropriate for a tutorial dungeon. Eastern Reach is a dangerous place full of lurking enemies and carefully concealed secrets. Enable scouting mode to help to move stealthily and search for hidden objects like traps and secret doors. I hope I'm not going to run over a trap doing this, but same tactic. Alright. And again. With the knockdown. And with the fire. There we go. So yeah, even though it seems like it's really easy, we are getting injured. So this is again what I was talking about. In a D&D/Pathfinder style game, if I had taken, 32 health of damage in the tutorial dungeon, I would have died. But here, they're chipping away at me. They're wearing me down. They're causing me to spend resources for every encounter I get into. So if I'm not careful, I'm going to end up in an encounter where I don't have enough resources to complete it. And that's really what, RPGs are all about, is managing resources. So it said to use the stealth mode. Maybe just because I was able to sneak up on those guys or something. It said traps and secret doors.
Fresh air in here. I think we found an exit. Sounds like the storm path.
Okay, so this is the way I'm supposed to go. So then what's these... I remember these runes back here, burn you up if you walk on them. But it does kind of look like this area leads to the same area. So I think you're given the option of either bypassing the puzzle by solving it, or bypassing the puzzle by using your strength or the hammer and chisel to take it down. This mural must be ancient, yet the colors are still bright and vivid. It shows a procession of Ingwithans from all the Kith races, Amua, Elf, Orland, Dwarf, and Human. They walk among pillars similar to the ones that span this chamber, each one topped with a flame. Should I be checking for traps? Oh, there's a corpse. Lesser Black Ooze. Huh. So they're immune to prone. I mean... Oh, they shoot. Let's see if they're immune to fire. They do not appear to be immune to fire. Alright. Ooze Plasma. And then what does he have? A Pollux. So what is its quirk? It does not appear to have one. Okay. Alright. Toss it in the storage with everything else. Alright.
Eh?
Shh. So, searching for traps.
Where'd that slime come from?
Viscous and oily, this muck clings to anything it touches. A viscous slick of something dark and tar-like runs down this wall. The shapes and bulges in the ooze suggest that something lies beneath it, but you can't tell what. Use your water skin to clear the ooze off. You rinse the ooze away, revealing an intricate relief of a man's face. The sunburst surrounding it has chipped away in places, but the details of his head, from the tight curls of hair to the ridges of his pointed ears, still showcase remarkable craftsmanship. One eye socket is empty, a gem fills the other. Place the gem in the eye socket. The chamber begins to rumble, stray rocks dancing across the tile floor. Finally, a large section of the wall gives way. Okay, so we used 2 quest items to open this. And there's an ooze. He's immune to prone, but he's not immune to fire. Okay. And more ooze plasma. As well as a minor cloak of protection. Cool.
No problem.
Anything else? Nope. Alright. So, minor cloak of protection goes in the cloak slot. So yeah, +5 fortitude, reflex, and will. Nice.
Yeah.
Alright, that was worth 2 quest items that probably serve only that purpose. Now back to the puzzle. A lined symbol is inscribed on this pillar. An unlit brazier sits at its base. It could be lit if you had the means. Fire godlike. Requirement not met. So if you're a fire godlike, you can activate these. I think I was playing a fire godlike last time I tried this game. Because I remember doing something with these. I remember just trying to walk across here burns you. Like, kills you, burns you. And I remember deactivating runes, I think because I was playing a fire godlike, or whatever. So then I was able to walk across in a certain way. Oh yeah, didn't I have 3 people? I think I did save the dude's life whenever I played through this the first time. This is literally all I played through, though. I played, like, through the tutorial dungeon, then I got to the end of the tutorial dungeon and was like, well, I don't have time to continue. But now I have a YouTube channel, so I have all the time in the world. Or at least an excuse to spend the time. Yeah, so I guess instead of walking on the giant glowing ruins that are, very dangerous. Okay. Let's go with our regular shenanigans. Knockdown?
Hmm?
Alright. And fire. That is so satisfying to use. Also, it seems very effective early game. Like, what's the point of having lay on hands?
Quickly and quietly.
Why heal the damage when you could just prevent it by killing faster? Yeah, I distinctly remember these runes turning off, or I was able to pass them, I think because I was playing a fire godlike. Is this thing immune? No, it's immune to web. It is not immune to knockdown. So you fire sword that, and now go and fire sword that. Alright, beautiful.
Eh?
Fire sword OP. Alright. So apparently all these little pieces of critters that I'm picking up are going straight into my stash.
Got it.
That's cool. Bats as large as chickens are strung in the web. A rapier and a bloodstone. Bloodstone is traditionally a dark stone, often a deep green. But the presence of pockets of iron or red jasper resembling blood splatter give the stone its name as well as its value. Cool. And I believe, yeah, that's the exit. Another corpse, this time with a helmet. And another jar, urn, whatever, with pretty gems. Cool. Inventory. Helmets. Helmets come in many forms, from the humble padded cap to fully enclosed steel great helms. Different cultures tend toward different styles of helmets, but outside of regimented armies, the type of helmet an individual wears often comes down to personal preference. So what does it do? Does it increase my damage reduction? Does it increase my defenses? No, it just looks silly. I see.
Eh?
Alright, I'm sure there are magic hats, and I'm sure there are eventually going to be helmets that you can use. And this is literally the point where I'm now going into stuff I've never done before. So I think I got to this point and was like, well, I'm out of time for the night. So. Okay, cutscene. 4 figures stand before an otherworldly apparatus, an ancient structure of chiseled adra and metallic veins, ominous and looming like a silent observer. Standing motionless in their midst is what appears to be a human body, colorless as stone, or ash. The other figures gaze upon it in what might be contemplation. From your vantage point, you are well obscured from their view. The figure closest to the machine stands out amongst them. A thick gray beard frames a face otherwise hidden beneath a metallic mask. His faded robes are embroidered with a runic language unlike anything you have ever seen, and he wears a strange black headdress with 2 protrusions that jut out like the wings of some malevolent creature.
Oathbinder, bear witness, and see this man has kept his word true to his last breath, full to his blood's last drop. Guide his soul, queen that was, and regard it among your favored. Let his life by the key be his confession. Let his death by the key be his absolution. May he walk the world ever free of the crushing weight of the book.
That makes no sense, but okay.
Your brother has done his part, and you have seen the power of his contribution. I will accept no further hesitation from the rest of you. In the sight of the queen that was, will you fulfill the oath? Will you take your place beside your brother in the endless esteem of her memory that is without flaw? Step forth and be assured of the great worth of your life's course.
So, cults. Some crazy cult where people are petrifying themselves. Also, that kind of just looks like a blender. Alright, apparently it's a soul blender. For an instant, the apparatus goes quiet and the air is still. Then, all at once, it erupts with a concussive surge. Light floods your vision and you are knocked to the ground. Your head snaps back as you land, and pain wells into the back of your skull, washing your last thoughts away into the black, unconscious void. You open your eyes to a different place, another time. You stand in a circular room, grand and domed, its walls lined with adra and trimmed with copper. The style is ancient, but the chamber is unweathered. At the far end, a great pillar of adra pierces the floor from below, its shimmering texture giving the illusion of boundless depth. Encircling the pillar is an apparatus much like the one you have just seen, but immense and multifaceted and intertwined. Your thoughts are yours and not yours, and they seem to exist before you think them, and they are all questions. Pressing questions, troubling questions, questions that must be answered, or... At the base of the pillar now, you see a man with a thick gray beard and ceremonial robe, crowned with a strange ornamental headdress. You know this man. You are walking towards him now at a pace that is hurried while trying not to appear so. You have something you want to ask him, one question above all, and the question spins madly in your mind. You awaken to find your malaise is broken, only to be replaced with something far more concerning. Faint whispers are audible at the edge of your hearing, like a ringing in your ears that does not subside. Movement flits through your periphery, but when you turn to look, you can see no signs of whatever it was. You find your gaze regularly darting this way and that, an involuntary paranoid tick. If this is a sickness, it may be dangerous to go without treatment for long. The figures at the machine stand frozen in place, flesh and blood replaced by cinders and ash. The man who led them is nowhere to be seen. You find Kaliska lying prostrate a short distance away, blood pooled beneath her head. No breath escapes her lips. One of your characters has become fatigued. Fatigue represents the physical and psychological wear and tear of demanding activity on a character. It is most commonly received as an injury when a character is knocked out, but some scripted interactions will also result in fatigue if they are especially grueling. So Lillian is now fatigued, and Kaliska is dead, thereby removed from our party, but they had the kindness to let us loot her, apparently, because I see glow, which is what the corpses have done before. You are alone and far from help. Gilded Veil may be your best hope of receiving treatment before things get worse. Your character has earned enough experience to advance the level. Click the icon on their portrait to level them up. And indeed, I can loot Kaliska of all the things that were on her. That's a nice touch. Usually in RPGs, whenever you lose a party member, you just lose them. And even if they die, and they're sitting right there, you can't loot them. So it's actually a very nice touch that you can loot them right there. She's on the ground, dead, and you can loot her. It's a small thing, but it's an appreciated thing. Like, yeah, if I was playing a more reverent type of character, I might choose not to loot them out of respect. But I'm playing a cruel, aggressive character, which I'll stop saying as soon as it no longer amuses me that I'm playing a paladin that is cruel and aggressive. You know what? I think we'll call it there for an episode, because I'm going to start the next episode leveling up Lillian, so that I can put a timestamp and let people skip past the level up if they want to. But for now, that has been your episode of Murderhobo Mittwoch for the week. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, have a good one.